Greetings, Mind Crafters, and welcome to another Mindcraft discussion on this glorious day. In the film world, they teach us not to say good morning or good evening or whatever like that because you don't know when somebody's listening to it. You don't know what time zone there is and that they're in and all that. And I feel like I just want to tell you though, it's early in the morning, not ridiculously early, but early enough. And it rained all night. And it's this wonderfully contemplative morning. So anyway, I got to introduce here. So my name is Kimberly Quinn, your hostess with the mostest. And I actually was not planning to do a video this morning. And I bring my phone just in case something happens, which is pretty stupid, really. Because, back in the day, we didn't have cell phones and it all worked out. I think a lot of us are in that habit. Plus, I'm about 95% sure there's no service up here. So there you go. But I'm glad because, again, when I do these videos, you might think, oh, it's tech and, you put on social media. It is as close to totally authentic as is possible because that's all I know how to do. I only know how to do the real. I don't have any tolerance for anything that's inauthentic. I've pretty much always been like that. It's just that obviously with life, as we grow older, we develop less and less of a tolerance. At least I have, just because my life minutes are just too valuable. Definitely become aware that there are fewer in front of you than behind you. So this is kind of why I kind of pulled over here at the first thoughtful spot here, Inspiration. What's this called? Oh, we have a different thoughtful spot in town too. That my kids named it that actually. It's got waterfalls. It's beautiful. This is Inspiration Bridge 1, and there's this gorgeous brook. So what I want to talk about today, which I did not plan on, is today I feel so incredibly grateful for the ordinary. And that might just sound ridiculous. We fly around like gerbils on crack, often with life being an urgency and even an emergency, which rarely is that the case. So thankfully it is not the case, but even the urgency. And also, as Joe Dispenza talks about, we get so wrapped up in the knowns, and so many times we wake up and right out of the gate, we're, checking the phone. Not me. My phone is in the kitchen, miles away from where I sleep. But often some people even sleep with it. My students are very honest about it. And we talk about that in Minecraft to try to shift out of that habit because it's ultra unhealthy to start your day that way. I mean, it's just the truth. It's not a judgment. It's just true. You don't want the first thing you do in the morning is checking that phone. Even if it's the third or fourth thing you do in the morning, okay, but not the first. That's just not good. So anyway, so we often run around like that. We get wrapped up with checking our meetings. Maybe we had our tea or coffee first. Got the caffeine fix. Head to the bathroom. Everybody does everything. Pretty routine, I think, in the morning. Whatever that is. And we just right away just get wrapped up in that. And we get so wound up about what's coming and how am I going to do this, how am I going to do that, and I got to fit it in. And so today I just wanted to stop that stuff. And today is incredibly ordinary. And I love it. I am delighting in my life minutes right now. I woke up, wrote in my gratitude journal 3 things that I'm grateful for, like I do every single day of my life. I made my tea right before that, and then before the 2 minutes was up, I was done with the gratitude journal. From there, I put the YouTubes up. I sent out the Mindful Times. If those of you who don't know what that is, that's a newsletter that I kick out every Wednesday. I do it before this morning, obviously, but it's such a pleasure to send it out every Wednesday. And oftentimes I'll get a few people saying nice things, or this is just what I needed to hear today, or sometimes it's just thank you for taking the time. It's just nice. It's such a good vibe thing to be doing, and I just enjoy it so much. And it's also fun. This is more the ordinary. I do this every week. It's not new. It's fun for me. It's joyful to sort of research, term used loosely, right? Because it's not like a big project. It's just reading up and deciding. Kind of like you try to keep dinners interesting if you're the chef in the house. I try to keep the Mindful Times interesting with different articles, and it's very short. I don't allow any advertisements. It's short and sweet. you know, it's usually a couple pages, and I did one the other week that was a little bit longer because it was the Wilhelm effect of submerging in cold water is really cool. Wilhelm effect. Anyway, they're usually short, and so I enjoyed the whole thing. I enjoy researching the articles. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to pick that one, and then I'll see a better one. And that's a win-win because I found the one I like better, but I also got the knowledge from the one before it. It's just joyful. Then, you know, I made my husband's lunch for his work. I'm on top of that every day because for health reasons. And we have we talk for just a little bit in the morning. It's really small. I mean, like 10 or 15 minutes because we're both typically out the door around the same time. It's summer now, so that's a little different for me with my schedule's a little different. But so it's ordinary. And I'm out here in the woods with this beautiful brook and the bugs because between Mother's Day and Father's Day, at least in northern Vermont, and we're right in the middle of those two right now, black flies go crazy. So they're kind of tolerating me in their space right now. It's not too bad. But I think the whole point of this very ordinary video is to really appreciate that because, and sometimes I even do a gratitude about that when I'm on my way somewhere to a meeting. Maybe it's a meeting I really don't feel like going to because we all have those. And I'll just stop and think, you know, grateful. I'm so grateful for this ordinary day where I'm just going to a meeting or I'm just going to the dentist because thankfully it's not an appointment for chemo or it's not an appointment for even something less severe but still not fun, like a root canal versus a cleaning. I'm so grateful for days. I'm grateful for days that are just plain uneventful, you know, and they allow us to just be. Later I have one meeting and I've got some podcast editing to do. My plan is to listen to, because it's quite a drive I have into campus. My plan is to listen to either Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, Oprah, somebody, and the whole way in and just to soak it up and enjoy it. And then embrace all the lovelies at the meeting. And then finish up my editing and some planning I have to do for some workshops when I get back. And it's just nothing exciting but joyful. Things don't have to be, you know, like a 10 out of 10 on the excitement scale to be enjoyable. And also in this day, I'm going to carve out, because for me I have to carve it out to save life minutes. That's how it goes. Otherwise the day just disappears. I'm going to do a little bonsai tree caring probably before I leave for the meeting. Just that takes maybe 15 minutes, you know, and I'm not watching the clock because that would suck the joy out of that. But just, you know, water them, see if anybody needs a little snip, something like that. The irony here too is those of you who are watching and know me, you're probably saying, wow, is she actually doing some form of gardening right now? I'd rather not call it that because I've always thought I had 10 black fingers and toes until bonsais came into my life. So I would not call myself a gardener because that will just resurge that, all that, you know, that plant karma I used to have. And bonsaiing, who knew was actually a verb, and it's very much related to, can really feed one's well-being. There are all kinds of little YouTubes on that, how people have the people who are into it as a hobby will talk about how it feeds their well-being. It's very cool. And for some reason, bonsais and I get along really, really well. There's little G over there. I'm also just enjoying him, you know. This is an ordinary day for us. And we're going to continue our walk shortly. He has a huge stick. This is another thing I enjoy is Giovanni is my little companion in the woods. And he has a stick that's longer than he is. And he's going to try really hard to bring that to me so I can throw it. And just watching him run around, he's like a gazelle. He's in really, really good shape because we are here every single day of our lives, unless it's a monsoon. It's actually kind of drizzly today. I think it's supposed to thunder. That will also be pleasant because I love thunderstorms, especially when on the beach, because they just roar right through. That's another simple pleasure that I'm just crazy about. Oh, and one more thing about my ordinary day, because I had the windows open and the bird symphony, I think I mentioned that earlier. My husband thinks I have more bird feeders out than anyone in the entire state of Vermont. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I do have lots of feeders up, and they're set up for all kinds of different types of food. I love blue jays. Hummingbirds are my favorites. We've got the... What'd you find, G? I don't know, some treasure or something. I'm not really sure. they're set up for hummingbirds. So I have the fuchsias and the geraniums, all of which I bought as they are. So right now they look gorgeous. My husband laughs because some by like the end of July they're not so gorgeous, but I try every year. It's like Charlie Brown on my back, like I keep trying. But right now the birds are doing great, and also I love blue jays. I love blue jays, and watching the male jays trying to impress their women on the back deck, diving and squawking and everything is such entertainment. So that is my very ordinary day today, for which I am so grateful. There's nothing huge going on. No not even a dentist cleaning, nothing. Just productive though. I have a lot of creative workshop planning to do again, which brings me joy. All of it brings me joy. I even explained it to a colleague recently, because she's like, da 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 da, and on a Saturday or whatever. And I said, yeah, I would say that we're unhealthy if I were doing some planning and putting some well-being stuff on social media if it didn't bring me joy. Anything that brings me joy, I do not count as work. If paid or not, it's not the point. If it brings me joy and I can't wait to do it, then it's not work. In fact, almost ready to hang up with you. Just yesterday, a colleague of mine who I really, really like a lot, she didn't have a lot of the info for it yet, but she has some thoughts about, it came from a couple other people too, I think, but she was talking about me creating some sort of workshop series for students that are probably, I'm guessing probably are upperclassmen, because talking about them bringing their values, their own values, and their own authentic self into the professional workplace. And I lit up like a Christmas tree in about 2 seconds without even all the information yet. I don't even know what it looks like or what it's, but just the thought of putting together some kind of interactive something for probably our seniors, I'm thinking she must mean, because she talked about working with the career people and things like that, to bring all of you into your professional life, rather than putting on that professional face and facade with, leaving your emotions at home and stuff. That's just so ridiculous, because that also feeds work-life integration versus balance, right? Because really, in reality, we all bring ourselves everywhere we go. We don't just splinter off the professional piece, the student piece, the mom piece, or the dad piece, or the whatever. I mean, we all walk in as whole, complete people into whatever situation. And at least for me, it's what you see is what you get. It doesn't matter what the context is. So anyway, I was super excited about that. So back to ordinary, ordinary, ordinary. I am loving this very joyful, very ordinary, uneventful day. And I am so, so grateful. Wow, the birds and everything. And little G is with me, my little woods companion. All right, G. All right, that's it. This is Giovanni and I are signing off from the beautiful Notch at Northern Vermont. Have a mindful, maybe very ordinary day.